Welcome to the podcast de Philippe. Ready for another deep dive. Today we're going way back in time over 2,000 years to ancient Greece.
Over 2,000 years.
To explore the Antikythera mechanism.
Fascinating piece of technology.
We'll cover its discovery, how researchers are decoding it,
Like a puzzle.
and why it's changing how we think about ancient tech.
Really makes you question what they knew back then.
It's a story of ingenuity, mystery,
Lots of mystery still.
and the power of human curiosity, so buckle up.
It's a wild ride.
This Antikythera mechanism,
Yeah,
it's an ancient astronomical calculator, right?
that's one way to put it.
But the ancient Greeks knew astronomy.
They were experts.
So what makes this so special?
It's way more complex than anything else from that time. It's not just observing the sky. It's like...
To predicting it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Predicting celestial events and with crazy precision.
Sounds advanced. How'd they even find this thing? Was it in a temple or a tomb?
Nope, it was 1900.
Okay.
Sponge divers off the coast of Antikythera. Greek island, yeah. They found a Roman shipwreck full of treasures, statues, pottery, and this weird bronze thing.
Just another piece of loot, right?
At first, yeah, they thought it was just another artifact.
How'd they figure out it was special?
So the next year, archaeologists took a closer look
They started looking closely.
and realized it was extraordinary. Intricate gears, inscriptions, nothing like it from that era.
Hold on, gears and inscriptions. Sounds more like a clock than just an astronomical instrument.
Yeah.
What were the gears doing?
That's the big question. It's a complex system of gears, all interlocking, bronze.
All bronze.
Each one calibrated to track the movements of celestial bodies.
Like a little model of the universe, all clockwork.
It is kind of like that. Dozens of tiny gears, meshing, turning, driven by a crank.
So cool. What kind of info did it display? Was it just stars and planets?
It did way more than that.
More.
It tracked the sun, moon, the 5 known planets, and it could predict eclipses.
Whoa, wait.
Not just any eclipses, specific solar and lunar eclipses using the Saros cycle.
Okay, need to break that down. What's the Saros cycle? How'd they figure that out 2,000 years ago?
So it's a period of about 18 years, 11 days, 8 hours.
Okay.
And after that, the sun, moon, and Earth are back in the same relative positions.
So the eclipses happen again?
Exactly. The Greeks, they were meticulous. They observed this pattern and built it into the mechanism.
They really understood the sky.
Deep understanding of how it all works. It's incredible.
So this thing could predict eclipses centuries in the future. Mind-blowing. What else could it do?
It also did moon phases, planetary cycles, even dates of big events like the Olympic Games.
Wow.
It was a whole astronomical calendar, all powered by gears and bronze.
But this wasn't just some basic model. This was high-tech. We underestimate what ancient people could do.
We really do. And get this, the mechanism even accounted for elliptical orbits
Elliptical.
of the planets. We're talking a concept not understood until Kepler in the 17th century.
Wait, you mean this ancient Greek device knew something that took almost 2,000 years to rediscover? How is that possible?
It shows you how ingenious they were and how good their observations were. They figured out that planets don't move in perfect circles
Not perfect circle.
around the sun, but in these slightly elongated paths, ovals.
Ellipses.
Exactly. They were way ahead of their time.
History books need an update. This is incredible.
It's a huge reminder that we shouldn't underestimate past civilizations. They might not have had our technology, but they did some incredible things.
Absolutely incredible.
It makes you think, what else is out there just waiting to be found?
Right. And who built this thing, do we know? Who was the mastermind
It's still a mystery,
of history?
but there are theories. Some think it was Archimedes.
Archimedes, the Eureka guy. He was pretty inventive.
Exactly. He built complex astronomical devices, like a planetarium that could show the movements of the sun, moon, and planets.
Makes sense he could be behind this, too. Is there any evidence?
Well, his reputation, for one, he was known for his mechanical skills and his knowledge of astronomy.
Like finding a lost painting and trying to figure out who painted it. Any other suspects in this ancient tech mystery?
Well, some think it came from Rhodes.
The island.
Yeah, it was a big center for astronomy and mechanics back then. They had skilled engineers, astronomers, the know-how to create something like this.
So maybe Archimedes, maybe Rhodes. What else are they trying to figure out about this Antikythera mechanism?
Well, a big challenge is that we only have about a third of it.
The third.
The rest is either lost at sea or still out there somewhere. Researchers are using X-rays, 3D modeling, you name it.
Trying to piece it all together.
Exactly, like a giant 3D puzzle, but with missing pieces.
What kind of tech are they using to, unlock the secrets?
One of the main tools is X-ray tomography. It lets them see inside without damaging it.
That's pretty cool.
They can create detailed 3D models, the gears, all the internal parts.
So 21st century tech is helping us understand something from 2,000 years ago. What are they hoping to learn from these models?
Well, by reconstructing the missing parts and understanding how the gears work together, they're getting closer to figuring out what it could really do. And they're also trying to decipher the inscriptions. Those give clues about the dials and pointers.
Like an ancient instruction manual.
Kind of, but way more complicated. Every little bit they uncover gets us closer to the full picture.
Must be exciting for them, finding all these clues.
It is, and it's a reminder that the ancient Greeks were incredibly sophisticated. Their understanding of astronomy, their math, their mechanics, it was all combined in this one device. Way ahead of its time.
It really makes you wonder what else has been lost. What other amazing things did they create that we don't even know about?
That's the big question. The Antikythera mechanism changes how we think about ancient technology.
It challenges our assumptions.
Exactly. Who knows what other secrets are still out there waiting to be found?
And what about this mechanism's legacy? How has it changed our view of history of the ancient Greeks?
Well, it shows us that they were not technologically primitive, not at all.
They were way ahead of the game.
It's not just the device, it's what it tells us about them, their minds, their capabilities. It's like holding a piece of history and connecting with them across time.
Amazing. And it shows how connected knowledge was back then.
Right. To build something this complex, you need skilled artisans, astronomers, mathematicians, all working together, sharing their knowledge.
A real team effort.
It wasn't just one genius, it was a whole network of brilliant minds.
And they figured out elliptical orbits.
Centuries before anyone else.
Amazing. How did they do that?
It's still a mystery, but it shows their observational skills and their math were top-notch. They tracked the planets, noticed the variations in their speed and position.
So they weren't just looking at the sky, they were studying it.
They were doing science, making measurements, recording data, developing models.
Real scientific method.
Exactly. Centuries before it was formally defined.
Shows that the scientific spirit, that curiosity about the world, it's not new. It's been around for a long time.
Absolutely. And this mechanism is a perfect example of that. That desire to understand the universe, we're all part of that.
And that journey of discovery continues today. Researchers are still working on this Antikythera mechanism, finding new things all the time.
There's so much more to learn.
What are some of the big questions they're still trying to answer, the mysteries they want to solve?
Well, reconstructing the missing parts is a big one, as we said. We only have a third of the original.
Like a giant puzzle.
Exactly. They're using all sorts of techniques to try and fill in the gaps.
What are the challenges?
It's incredibly complex, all those gears, all those parts. They have to combine their knowledge of ancient tech with modern engineering.
No real challenge.
You have to figure out how the missing pieces fit, how it all worked together.
Fascinating.
It is, and by reconstructing it, they hope to find new features, new functions. The inscriptions hint at things we haven't figured out yet.
Like there's more to uncover.
Exactly. There's a whole other layer of complexity waiting to be discovered.
And what else are they looking at?
Well, they're analyzing the materials, the manufacturing techniques.
Looking at how it was made.
They're studying the bronze, the gears, the inscriptions.
Trying to understand how they did it.
It gives us clues about their level of technology.
What have they found?
The precision is amazing, even by today's standards. The gears are incredibly accurate. The inscriptions are tiny, so intricate.
They must have had specialized tools.
They did. And the skill, the craftsmanship, it's just incredible. To achieve that level of precision back then with their tools, it's mind-blowing.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We underestimate the past.
We do. They might not have had our technology, but they were capable of amazing things.
The Antikythera mechanism proves that.
And it's not just about the past. It inspires the future, too.
How so?
Its design, its functions, it's inspiring modern engineers and scientists. They're using its principles to develop new technologies.
So it's still relevant today?
Absolutely. It's a testament to human ingenuity, to the power of scientific discovery. As they learn more about it, it'll continue to inspire us.
It's amazing how something so old can still have such an impact.
It is. It shows that the quest for knowledge, for understanding, it's timeless. We're all part of that.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to move on to the final part of our deep dive. We'll be back shortly to wrap things up and explore the lasting impact of the Antikythera mechanism. Back to Le Podcast de Philippe and our deep dive into this amazing Antikythera mechanism.
Still so much to uncover.
Before the break, we talked about its impact, how it still blows people's minds today.
It really does.
But the story isn't over. Researchers are still at it, trying to unlock its secrets.
Always something new to discover.
And with each discovery, we understand more about how ingenious its creators were.
It's humbling, really.
It makes you realize how much potential there was, even back then.
We often think of the past as primitive, but this proves otherwise.
So what are some of the big questions that are still out there? The mysteries they haven't solved?
Well, who made it? We talked about Archimedes, maybe a workshop in Rhodes.
But no proof yet.
Right, they're looking at materials, techniques, the inscriptions, hoping for a clue.
Like a historical detective story.
It is, trying to find the fingerprint of the maker.
And what other mysteries are they working on?
Reconstructing the missing parts, that's a big one. Remember, we only have a third of the original.
It's hard to imagine what it looked like complete.
They're using all these high-tech tools, imaging, 3D modeling, and their knowledge of ancient engineering.
To fill in the gaps.
Exactly. It's like putting together a puzzle with only a few pieces.
What do they hope to find by doing that?
Well, they might discover new features, things we don't even know about. The inscriptions talk about things we haven't been able to figure out yet.
Like there's a whole other level to it.
Maybe. There's definitely more to learn. They're also looking at the materials, the manufacturing techniques,
How it was built.
the bronze, the gears, the inscriptions. All of it tells a story.
What have they learned so far?
The precision is just incredible. Even today, it would be hard to match. Those gears, so accurate. The inscriptions, so tiny and detailed.
They must have been incredibly skilled.
They were masters, using simple tools to create something so complex. It's amazing.
It makes you think about all the things we take for granted today.
It does. We have so much technology, but sometimes we forget the ingenuity of the past.
The Antikythera mechanism is a good reminder.
It is. And it's not just about the past. It's inspiring people today, engineers, scientists.
How so?
Well, they're looking at its design, its functions, trying to apply those principles to modern technology.
Taking inspiration from the past.
It's about understanding how they did it and then pushing those boundaries even further.
It shows that the quest for knowledge, for innovation, it never really ends.
It doesn't. And the Antikythera mechanism is a perfect symbol of that. It's a story of discovery, of ingenuity, and it's still unfolding.
And on that note, we've come to the end of our deep dive. We've explored its discovery, its secrets, its impact on our understanding of the past.
It's a remarkable artifact.
It really is. So, on Explore cette ancienne technologie qui n'a pas encore donné tous ses secrets.
There's always more to learn.
If this dive sparked your curiosity, there's tons of info out there. Books, articles, documentaries.
And if you're ever in Athens,
check out the National Archaeological Museum. See it for yourself.
it's an experience you won't forget.
And don't forget to subscribe to Le Podcast de Philippe on YouTube and like the video to support the show.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Until next time, keep exploring.